So again, good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss the third module of design and engineering subject, right? So in this module, right, we'll be focusing on two parts. One is design communication, right? That is the design communication based on drawings and mathematical modeling of the design. So these two parts we'll be discussing. Okay. So the first part we'll be discussing about how communicating designs based on graphically and communicating designs orally, and then communicating designs in the form of writing. So graphically, orally, and writing. So three forms, right? Then the next is mathematical modeling in design, right? And then how it is prototyped and how the proofing is done in the design. So these three things, these two parts we will be discussing, right? Fine. So let us move on to the topic. So today we will be focusing on introduction to the design communication, right? And also we'll be discussing about engineering sketches. What are the different types of sketchings, and what do you mean by layout drawings, and what do you mean by detailed drawings, right? So these things we'll be discussing. Fine. So the first is what do you mean by design communication? What is the need for this? The first two modules, right? What we discussed, right? What we understand is that how to do the design process. What are the phases in the design, right? And how to do the design thinking process, right? So all these we were doing that, right? So we have, say for example, the last module we discussed about design thinking process, right? Different stages we have discussed, and finally we come to a conclusion, right? This is the solution, right, for the particular problem, right? Okay, with the help of the solution, what we have to do is that we have to do the design drawing, because the reason is that we are going to give this design to the manufacturer. So manufacturer will see the design and he has to make it, right? So the design part is very important in such cases, right? So the drawing is very important in design because lot of information is created and transmitted in the drawing process, right? Where you are transmitting to the manufacturer. Okay, so design drawings include sketches, freehand drawings, and also computer aided design, CAD. All these three things are there. Okay, so the next is engineering sketches. So what do you mean by engineering sketches, right? So engineering sketches means graphic images are used to communicate with other designers, the client and the manufacturer. Say for example, if you have a design team, right, you should design the sketch and you have to give the design to the other designers, right? And also the clients, right? You may have to show that designs to the client so that the client will be able to understand, okay, this is what the design I required. Like that, you can show that to the client, and also you have to send that sketches to the manufacturer, right? He has to manufacture it, right? So these three are the major what is that stakeholders or the persons, right, to communicate the design. Okay, so graphical images are used to communicate with other designers, client, and manufacturing organization, right? So what are the uses of these sketches and drawings, right? So it serves as a launching pad for brand new design. This serves as a launching pad, right? This is what our brand new design. You can show as a sketch, okay? And then support the analysis of the design as it evolves, right? So you can just slowly change your design, or you can get the information or suggestions from the clients or other designers, and you can slowly change it, right? For that, you need to have a sketch, right? That is what you sketch. And simulate the behavior or the performance of a design. You can even simulate it. Simulation means what? You have an actual product, like the actual project, you can show it in a simulated way. That is in the computer, right? You can design that product, right? How the product will look like when it is made in the manufacturer, made in the manufacturing lab, for example, right? So simulate the behavior or performance of a design, and record the shape or geometry of a design, right? Communicate design among designers. You can communicate your design with among other designers, right? Ensure that a design is complete. You can just tell that, okay, this is the complete design. You can just tell it with the help of sketches and drawings, right? And finally, communicate the final design to the manufacturing specialist, right? So these are the uses. Sketches and drawings are these are the uses of sketches and drawings, right? Fine. So now the next is sketching. What do you mean by sketching, right? And what are the different types of sketching? Very important. Sketching is a powerful tool in design because it enables us to convey our design ideas to others quickly and concisely. That is what we discussed in the last slide, right? So what is the purpose of sketching? It is a powerful tool in design to convey our design, how the design is, that you can draw it and you can show it, right? This is the purpose of sketching. What are the types? It has 4 types. The first type is called as orthographic sketches. This is what your orthographic sketches, right? So what do you mean by orthographic sketches? So it is a layout in which you are showing only the front view, right view, and the top view. Right means the side view, right? The front view, say I can say it as it is a side view. Right? Let me make it as it is side. Front view, side view, and the top view, right? So here you can see this particular diagram, right? This is the top view, this is the front view, and this is the side view of this particular object, right? So top view, front view, and side view, right? So this is the actual object, and this object you can show or represent with the help of a top view, front view, and side view. See, another image is there. Chair is there, right? This is the chair, right? This is the chair. So how it is shown in front elevation, how it is shown in the side, and how it is shown in the top or plan, right? Plan view, or you can call it as a top view, right? So this is these two are the good example of orthographic sketches, right? The next is axonometric sketches. What do you mean by the axonometric sketches, right? Object is rotated along one or more of its axis. So you have an object, right? So you can slightly move it to some axis, say 30° or 40°, and how the image looks like, how the object looks like. That is called as the axonometric sketches. Object is rotated along one or more of its axis. Okay. Next is called as oblique sketches. So it means that first you're starting with the front view. You start drawing with the front view, right? Right. Based on blocks. See, it's something like a block, right? Right. So object is drawn with the front view, right? With the front view, right? And then what happens is that the depth lines are then added. See, first square is there, slowly the cube is actually drawn, right? So slowly you are adding the depth of an image, right? Depth lines are added and details such as round edges are added at the last, right? So this is what is called as oblique sketches. Initially you start with the block and then you go into the depth of the line, right? Depth of the object, right? Fine. The next is perspective sketches. What do you mean by perspective sketches? Represent 3-dimensional picture on a 2-dimensional picture space. Okay. If you just represent your 3-dimensional object on a 2-dimensional picture space, right? But it should look like a 3-dimensional image. That is the illusion, right? That is called as the perspective sketches. So what they are doing is that they will be fixing two perspective. For example, say this is one observer, this is another observer. This is one observer, this is another observer. Observer 1, observer 2, right? Observer 1 is nearer to the object, right? Observer 2 is somewhat distance from the object, right? So when the size increases, when the distance increases, your object looks very small. That is, in perspective sketches, right? What do you say? Objects appear smaller as the distance from the observer increases, right? Object appear smaller as the distance from the observer increases. So in such cases, right, what happens now? You have to draw with the help of the perspective. I mean the observer, right? So from this point, how the image looks like. From this point, how the image looks like, right? So represent 3-dimensional picture on a 2-dimensional picture space, right? That is the illusion of it, right? So with the help of a observer point of view or perspective point of view, right? This is what you. So 4 sketches we have discussed till now. What about the next one? Next one is there are several forms of engineering design, right? There are several forms. So when we communicate design results, designs results to the manufacturer. You'll be giving the final result of the design to the manufacturer. So we must think very carefully about the fabrication specification that we are creating in drawings as well as those we write. Okay? So we must ensure that our drawings are both appropriate to our design and prepared in accordance with the relevant engineering practices and standards. Okay, fine. The next is design drawings. So there are majorly two types of design drawings. One is layout design and another one is detailed design. In layout design, right, you will be showing only the major part of the components, right, or major part of a particular object. You won't be showing everything. You'll be showing only the major part, right? So what happens is that slowly when the design process evolves, you can slightly change the drawings. You can slightly change this particular design, right? So what do you mean by layout drawings? First, you will be starting with only major parts, not all the parts, only the major parts. And slowly what you can do is you can change it because the design process evolves. Okay. So the next is called as your detailed drawing. So what is the detailed drawing? In the previous cases, right, what we discussed is that design drawings actually will have two types, layout drawings and detailed drawings. In layout drawings, right, we are showing only the major parts. But in detailed drawings, what we are discussing, what we are showing is that each and every part is actually shown here. Show the individual parts or components of designs and their relationship. These drawings must show tolerances and they must show also specify materials or any special processing requirements. So everything you have to show it. So this is one example. Okay. So detailed drawings are drawn in conformance with existing standards and are changed only when a formal change order provides something. So you should once a detailed drawing is completed, you should not change it. Right? If any change requirement happens with a client, for example, then you have to change this, or else this should be your final design drawing, right? So this is the detailed drawings example. Okay, fine. So in the next class, what we'll discuss is that we'll discuss about assembly drawing, CAD models, right? What do you mean by CAD models? And then communicating design orally and in writing, because even we have to design or show the designs, right, with the help of oral way or also in writing, right? So these things we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you.